And welcome back. It is the Brett Winterble Show here on Newsmax TV. Happy to have this next guest joining us, give us some great insights into what it is that's going on here, especially in these last number of days, as we have seen the political rhetoric and the attacks on the president really ramped up. He is David Horowitz. You know him from Front Page Magazine, the David Horowitz Freedom Center, and of course, author of Big Agenda, President Trump's Plan to Save America. David, so good to have you back on Newsmax. I appreciate you being with us today.
Yeah, we live in really strange times, don't we? The attacks on the president.
We sure do. Let me get your reaction.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I think the attacks on the president are bound to backfire. Trump is blamed for everything. I mean, the week that they were searching for the pipe bomber, MSNBC had a panel. Trump had made some news by saying he was a nationalist. And Trump, Nicole Wallace had 4 people on the panel, including her, saying that Trump was Hitler because he said he was a nationalist. And the way they got to Hitler was by saying that nationalist is always associated with dictators, which is a lie, historical lie. Nationalism is a term coined by Joseph Mazzini, the creator of the modern state of Italy, and he was a Democrat. But anything to rope Hitler into a conversation about Trump, I think that, people who are not subject to Trump derangement, which seems to be most of the Democratic Party these days, those people are. But everybody else can see how absurd these attacks are. They try to blame Trump for everything. The attacks are extreme beyond belief. Why do they say he's Hitler? Because he calls the fake news media fake news. Obama tried to put reporters in jail. There was never a peep out of them. Pissed. So it's just a double standard.
I mean, he spied on Cheryl Atkinson. Yeah, he spied on Cheryl Atkinson and James Rosen. I mean, he spied on a lot of people.
Well, what is not being fully discussed now, but will be after Trump changes the leadership of the Justice Department, is that Obama tried to first of all, use the intelligence agencies to try to destroy Trump's campaign. And then when Trump became president, to overthrow him. This is the worst scandal in the history of the country, political scandal, to have a party in power use the intelligence agencies, which are supposed to defend the country as a whole, to defeat a political opponent. And then when he's legitimately elected, to try to overthrow him. That's what's been going on. But for various reasons, Trump's hands have been tied for a while. So he can't completely uncover this. But this is going to happen.
What about your level of concern as you look at the increasing radicalization of the Democratic Party, going to the Democratic Socialist movement? Your Ocasio-Cortez socialists and Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, they seem to be increasingly connected to the rage, but disconnected from America's real priorities.
Party, and it's a seditious one. Look, the last time a legitimately elected president was faced with a resistance and obstruction of this order was Abraham Lincoln in 1860. Our democracy only works if there's a collective agreement that when you lose an election, you fight to win the next one. You don't conduct a resistance to the sitting president, because that's just sabotaging the country. He is the commander-in-chief. We live in a world where there are many, many, many bad actors. We have enemies. Trump is our leader. You can be critical of Trump all you want, But to call him Hitler all the time, and try to delegitimize him, and to, like that idiot Maxine Warner, call for his impeachment over nothing all the time, and talk about invoking the 25th Amendment, which was designed for presidents who have strokes and are incapacitated by the strokes, is sedition. It's treason, actually. I guess Trump is a patriot. That's his ideology. I'm sorry he used the term nationalist, because compulsive liars like Lawrence O'Donnell of CNBC took. I actually couldn't believe I was watching this. He said, "What's the word you associate with nationalists?" Everybody knows it's white. So he's a white nationalist. So he's a racist. So he's Hitler. I mean, people like this shouldn't be on the air. So I think it's very dangerous. The leftward shift, the Women's March people, they're pro-terrorists. We have pro-terrorists, people who want to turn this country into Venezuela. But look, Bernie Sanders is a lifelong communist. Well, capital C. He probably wasn't a member of the party, but he was just cheating them of their dues. He had his honeymoon, chose to have his honeymoon in Moscow at the height of the Cold War, a slave empire, for crying out tears. So things have gone pretty awry in our country. And it's because, I have to say, it's because of the universities. Our school system has been taken over by communist radicals. And I know this makes me sound like, I prefer the term neo-communist, because that's the accurate term for them. Just the way we have neo-Nazis and neo-fascists, we have neo-communists. But, what is their program? Redistribution of income, freebies for everybody except for people who've earned enough to pay the freight. They want to control everything except our borders, open our borders. They're anti-American. The Democratic Party is a menace these days. Now, there are a lot of decent people in the Democratic Party, but they're intimidated at the moment by the Linda Sarsours and the Cortezes and the Bernie Sanders and the corrupt partisan media. So they're keeping their counsel. I mean, the only one brave enough to speak up is Dershowitz.
Well, listen, David Horowitz, it's always good to catch up with you and get your thoughts on all these important issues. It's been far too long, and I want to have you back as soon as we can, because I think it's vitally important to continue this conversation into the election and after the election. That will be the real telling time to see how it all goes down, and how the response is accepted or rejected by these same progressives who are on a march, I think, to socialize much of our economy and our private property, et cetera. David Horowitz from the David Horowitz Freedom Center, also frontpagemagazine.com, and the great book, the Big Agenda, President Trump's Plan to Save America.
May I say,
we appreciate you being there. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more live breaking news coverage, exclusive interviews, and videos from Newsmax TV, click subscribe on our YouTube channel, and don't forget to download the free Newsmax TV app for alerts. Newsmax TV, it's real news for real people.